Today I want to speak about a force of nature, a case study in audacity, a living testament that the word impossible is nothing more than a temporary opinion. I want to talk about Elon Musk. Yes, the controversial, imperfect, relentless, brilliant, polarizing Elon Musk, and more importantly, what his story can teach each one of us about turning impossible ideas into reality. Because you see, this is not about worshiping a person. This is about studying a mindset, a blueprint, a philosophy of action, a way of approaching the world that refuses to accept its limits. For whether you admire Elon Musk or criticize him, one thing is indisputable. He has repeatedly taken ideas that most people dismissed as fantasies, and he marched them, step by painful step, into existence. So the real question is this: how does he do it? And perhaps even more importantly, how can you do the same? Let's explore this together. 1. He begins where others end, at the edge of the impossible. Most people start with what is comfortable. They look for opportunities that are likely to work, relatively safe, or within reach. Elon Musk does the opposite. He starts with the things that seem absurd. Building rockets cheaper than governments. Impossible. Landing boosters upright on a floating platform. Impossible. Creating a mass-market electric car company in an existing auto industry graveyard. Impossible. Rewiring global financial transactions with online payments. Impossible. Designing a brain-computer interface. Impossible. Building a satellite internet constellation that blankets the Earth. Impossible. Planning to colonize Mars. Ridiculous. Taking over a declining social media platform and attempting to reinvent its infrastructure. Too messy, too chaotic, too big of a target. And yet, one by one, these things stopped being jokes and started becoming blueprints. Then prototypes. Then products. Then headlines. Then industries. The lesson here is profound. Impossible ideas are not impossible, they are merely ideas people have not decided to make real yet. Every breakthrough in human history was once considered madness. Every world-changing invention began as a dream someone mocked. Musk simply chooses to begin where the mockery is loudest. Because that is where the unclaimed territory lies. 2. He doesn't ask, what is, but, what should be. One of Musk's greatest strengths is the ability to mentally subtract the present from the future he believes ought to exist. Instead of asking, what are cars like today? He asks, what should transportation be like in the future? Instead of, how do rockets currently work? He asks, what would rockets be like if cost no longer limited exploration? Instead of, how do we expand solar adoption? He asks, what system architecture would make sustainable energy globally dominant? This is first principles thinking, breaking down a problem to its most fundamental truths and rebuilding from scratch. Most people think in analogies, like this, but better. Musk thinks in fundamentals, strip everything to the root and redesign. That difference is monumental. Analogy thinking incrementally improves the world. First principles thinking recreates it. And that is the gateway to impossible ideas, because once something is stripped to its atomic truth, the assumptions that make it feel impossible evaporate. The question for us becomes, what assumptions are we accepting without challenge? What truths could we rebuild from scratch? Once you begin thinking in first principles, you realize that impossibility is usually just inherited limitation. 3. He fails like a scientist, not like a normal person. Most people fear failure because they believe it exposes their weakness. Musk embraces failure as a data-gathering mechanism. SpaceX blew up rockets. Tesla nearly went bankrupt. The early days of PayPal were chaotic. The Boring Company prototype stalled. The early Neuralink tests barely worked. But to Musk, these weren't defeats, they were experiments. And what do experiments do? They reveal what works by exposing what doesn't. When everyone mocked the failures, Musk said 6 words that every dreamer should memorize. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. This mindset is revolutionary. Because if you're afraid to fail, you will only ever attempt what feels guaranteed to succeed. And if you only pursue guaranteed success, you will never attempt anything transformational. Most people quit after embarrassment. Musk digs deeper after embarrassment. Most people see failure as evidence to stop. Musk sees it as a sign that he is still on the frontier. And if you can learn to fail like that, as a scientist, as an explorer, as a builder testing boundaries, then failure ceases to be a wound and becomes a compass. It shows you where to adjust, where to strengthen, where to push again. 4. He works with the ferocity of someone racing against time. There is a story from early SpaceX days. While troubleshooting a rocket, Musk slept on the factory floor, using a jacket as a pillow, waking up every couple of hours to check progress. Engineers arrived in the morning and found him already working. Another time, during Tesla's manufacturing crisis, he essentially lived in the factory for months, refusing to leave until production stabilized. But this relentless intensity is not about perfectionism. It is about purpose. Musk often says, "I want to wake up in the morning and think the future is going to be great." He works not because he worships work, but because he feels the gravity of the mission. To him, the stakes are not personal, they are civilizational. Multiplanetary life is not a goal, it is survival of consciousness. Sustainable energy is not a preference, it is a necessity for the planet. Global internet access is not a luxury, it is a gateway to opportunity. This sense of urgency transforms effort from obligation into passion. When you believe your work truly matters, work becomes fuel. The question for us is, what do we care about so deeply that we would endure discomfort, exhaustion, and uncertainty to make it real? If the answer is nothing, then maybe the first impossible idea to tackle is discovering your mission. 5. He surrounds himself with people who challenge him. It is easy to credit Musk alone. But he himself admits that innovation is never a solo act. He hires brilliant engineers, scientists, programmers, mechanics, mathematicians, and visionaries who often know far more than he does in any specific domain. But he hires with one criteria above all: relentless problem solvers, people willing to take ownership, people obsessed with learning, people who argue with him, people who refuse to accept half solutions, people who think faster than fear and deeper than pride. And then he pushes them. He challenges them. He creates environments where intensity is normal, where ambition is expected, where the boundaries of reality are debated as if they are negotiable. Some people thrive in this crucible. Some do not. But the result is undeniable. A culture where impossible ideas are not dismissed, they are deconstructed. So ask yourself, who are you surrounding yourself with? People who shrink your ideas, or people who stretch them? No one builds rockets to Mars alone. No one builds anything extraordinary alone. Your circle is either your engine or your anchor. Choose wisely. 6. He sees obstacles as engineering problems, not personal attacks. When Tesla faced criticism, Musk did not dissolve into self-pity. When SpaceX rockets failed publicly, he didn't disappear. When doubters mocked his Mars ambitions, he didn't defend himself, he built better rockets. Critics say, "You can't." Musk says, "Let me test." Regulators say, "It's too risky." Musk says, "Let me engineer safety." Competitors say, "It's too expensive." Musk says, "Let me redesign the cost structure." Obstacles are inevitable, but Musk treats them as puzzles, not punishments. And here is a principle we would all do well to remember. The size of your dream determines the size of your obstacles. If your obstacles are small, your dream probably is too. You cannot desire a legendary outcome and expect a friction-free journey. The friction is the transformation. Obstacles sharpen us. They force reinvention. They filter out the half-committed. They pressure test the purpose. So the next time life throws an obstacle in your path, ask not, "Why me?" but, "What can I build from this?" That is how Musk moves through resistance. Not by avoiding friction, but by engineering his way through it. 7. He balances vision with execution. Many people have big ideas. Many people have big claims. Many people have wild dreams. But few people build them. Musk is not just a visionary, he is a builder. He will draw the concept on a whiteboard, but then he will dive into the engineering details, the manufacturing bottlenecks, the physics constraints, the design choices, the cost optimizations. He toggles between galactic-level thinking and microscopic-level troubleshooting. That combination is extremely rare. Vision without execution is hallucination. Execution without vision is drudgery. But when both are fused, impossible ideas transform into inevitable outcomes. To emulate this, you must learn 2 skills. 1. Dream expansively. 2. Work obsessively. Most people do only one. Musk does both. That is why he shifts industries instead of participating in them. 8. He refuses to let fear be the decision maker. Elon Musk has said openly that many times in his career he experienced near paralyzing fear of bankruptcy, failure, humiliation, technical collapse, public ridicule, or personal ruin. But he does not let fear vote. Fear is a passenger, but it never gets to steer. When faced with the possibility of Tesla collapsing, he put his last remaining money into the company, knowing that if it failed, he would be broke. When told reusable rockets were impossible, he built them anyway, knowing the world was watching. When warned that electric vehicles could never compete with gasoline, he doubled down on the technology. The truth is simple. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting despite fear. Fear will always whisper, "Stay safe. Don't risk it. Don't embarrass yourself. Don't fail." But greatness whispers louder. Try, build, become. Musk chooses the second voice. And so can you. 9. He thinks on the scale of humanity, not comfort. Musk wakes up every day thinking about humanity in 100-year timescales. How will humans survive if Earth becomes uninhabitable? How can energy become sustainable indefinitely? How can global communication infrastructure be redesigned? How can artificial intelligence uplift civilization instead of threatening it? How can we build for the species, not the individual? When you think on this scale, excuses become microscopic. Obstacles become temporary. Fear becomes irrelevant. The scope of your mission determines the scope of your strength. Think small, and you will be overwhelmed by small worries. Think big, and only big challenges will reach you. So ask yourself, what is the longest-term mission you are willing to serve? 10 years? 20? A lifetime? Because when your mission is large enough, motivation is eternal. 10. He dares to dream without permission. Perhaps the most inspiring thing about Musk is not the rockets, cars, satellites, or factories. It is that he never waited for someone to allow him to dream. He didn't ask governments for approval before envisioning Mars. He didn't ask auto executives before building electric cars. He didn't ask aerospace giants before creating SpaceX. He didn't ask permission from anyone. He dreamed boldly. Then he built relentlessly. And this brings us to the core of this speech. You do not need permission to pursue the impossible. You don't need qualifications to start. You don't need expertise to begin learning. You don't need supporters to take the first step. You don't need certainty to take action. The world will not give you approval at the beginning. It will only give you applause at the end. 11. Your turn. Turning your impossible into inevitable. Elon Musk is not superhuman. He is human, flawed, controversial, contradictory, intense. But perhaps that is what makes his story useful. Because it means you don't need perfection to pursue boldness. You don't need to be universally admired to make a global impact. You don't need approval to innovate. You simply need conviction, and the willingness to act. So the question now turns to you. What is your impossible idea? Not the idea that is safe. Not the idea that is approved. Not the idea you know will work. But the idea that keeps tugging at your soul. The idea that scares you because it is so large. The idea that feels too ambitious to voice out loud. The idea that feels like it belongs to a future version of you. Bring that idea forward. Place it on the table. Examine it. Break it down to first principles. And begin. Begin imperfectly. Begin quietly. Begin clumsily. Begin afraid. Begin alone if you must. But begin. Because the truth is simple and undeniable. Impossible ideas are not transformed by the talented. They are transformed by the committed. And you have every capacity, every bit of potential, to join the ranks of those who bend reality rather than be bent by it. 12. Final words. The invitation to build the future. Elon Musk once said, "I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary." Whether you like him or not, whether you agree with him or not, you cannot deny that he has challenged the world to raise its expectations of what a single person can do. He reminds us that the future is not something that happens to us. It is something we build. Every rocket that touches the sky, every electric car on the road, every satellite orbiting Earth, every innovation that emerges from daring minds, they all whisper the same invitation. Dream boldly, work relentlessly, build fearlessly, and do not wait for permission. Because the next impossible idea that becomes reality may very well come from you.